Over at Axel Springer, that's the parent company for Politico and Business Insider, this week, the company's chief executive, Matthias Döpfner, he held a global all hands with everybody worldwide. And in this all staff meeting, Döpfner really gave this exceptionally glowing approval of the use of artificial intelligence in all levels of work. And this I think was really surprising that he's saying here, which Status obtained a recording of the meeting, and so we have these direct quotes from it. But Döpfner is saying, look, this is the biggest thing that's going to happen in the technology space, like in our lifetime. It's bigger than effectively the first advent wave of the internet upon us, and it's going to change everything. He's telling the staff, if you are using AI, that's not a problem. If you are not using AI, that actually could be the problem. If there's an issue that's discovered. But I think that this runs sort of counter to a lot of the thinking, at least in this moment, about how careful journalists should be with the use of AI in their reporting and in their research, because as we know, and we've seen many fumbles at other outlets that have tried to harness this technology, it can present bad information. It can present outright false and hallucinate. What are you hearing here?
Well, I mean, I think it was surprising. So for some reason, by the way, Axel Springer decided to upload their entire town hall onto YouTube. They streamed it on YouTube. Usually companies have internal websites where they do this, but they did it on YouTube. So someone just sent me the link, and I was able to watch the entire town hall like an employee. And I guess we should thank Döpfner for that, because we got a very clear-eyed reading out of what happened. But yes, AI was the central theme. And I think what was striking was this was the most we've ever seen any news chief like really lean into AI. And I'm curious. So he almost made it sound at one point that you should be using AI to write stories. Like that's the read I got from it. Like, and I don't know if he even understood where he was going with this. So I asked a spokesperson over there. I said, hey, like, does he want reporters to be using AI to write stories? And they basically said that he defers to the individual publications on how they want to incorporate using AI into the reporting process. So we'll see what Politico and Business Insider, what they say. They're going to have to put out some guidance after this town hall, I'm sure, about like how you should be using AI, what's okay and what's not okay. But it's very clear that Döpfner loves AI. He told many stories about how he uses it. He uses it during meetings to ask questions to the AI, to have more, to get better understanding of topics. He said that when he was at Sun Valley, he just spoke into his phone and explained what he had done there and who he had met with, and told AI to generate a memo for his executive team. And it did it, and he called it the most perfect document ever. He even talked about how he wanted to write an op-ed, and he prompted, I think, ChatGPT, and it kicked out a column. And he thought to himself, either he should just publish this column, or he should not try to write one himself, because there's no way he could produce a better column than the one that ChatGPT had done. So very clear that he's experimenting with it. He's using it. If you get an email from Matthias Döpfner, good chance, I guess, it's written by AI and not him. But I think that obviously news organizations are going to have to embrace AI, but they've been a lot more like they've been wading into the pool. He's telling employees, jump into the pool. It doesn't really matter if you make mistakes. He even said the mistakes that you make doing that, those are his favorite types of mistakes, because it means you're really experimenting and you're really embracing new technology. So a very clear mandate, you must use AI if you're, I guess, at Politico and Business Insider.
Yeah, I think it raises a lot of questions about whether or not this will instill trust into your audience, right? First and foremost, your duty as a journalist and at these news organizations is to your readers. And if your readers don't know if they can trust whether or not the information that's being presented to them is coming from the person whose name is on the page, whether or not this is authentic reporting or if this is just machine written, words cobbled together by a chatbot, I do think that can raise maybe some trouble for them and possibly, give people the feeling that I don't know if this is trustworthy. I think that if I'm a news organization in 2025 and the internet is on the verge of this AI apocalypse of, chat bot AI slop just sort of making its way across the web. When I even just search a Google image these days, half of the time, like mixed into Google images are these AI created images that look like a veneer of authenticity. It looks like a real picture, but it's not. These things have already just like infused themselves in there. I think if I'm a newsroom in 2025, I'm emphasizing that we are human written, that there are people behind the scenes who are doing this reporting, that you can trust us, you can trust the information that's coming from us. I question whether or not this is the right way to go. I certainly don't think that I would publicly be saying, and Döpfner seems to be indicating to his staff that you don't need to disclose this use of AI.
No, he said he didn't. He said we will never disclose it. So he made it clear they will not disclose whether AI is used in the reporting process. He said that we wouldn't disclose like other tools that are used. So why would we disclose AI? So
and that's troubling, right? I mean, I think that's troubling. I think that, like, to his credit, it is true that yes, when we're working on reporting ourselves, we're double checking facts, right? As Oliver, you're the writer. I'm editing the newsletter or the status. I'm double checking facts all the time. But I think that's a little different with searching on Google and making sure we get our names right and making sure that we get titles correct and facts that we know. When did this happen last month? With AI, the primary function of a chatbot right now is to produce the written word in a way that can provide the foundation for a story. It could be all the B matter behind the scenes. But if someone is not fine combing it, and we've seen this at places like Bloomberg, that embraced it,
right,
and then had to, correct stories. Pretty embarrassing to have this happen in a public fashion. I feel like it doesn't instill a lot of confidence if now you go to Politico for a very high stakes story about the Trump administration, and now anybody will be able to potentially poke holes in the story and say, I don't even know if this was written.
Well, here's the thing too: is like if you're using AI, which he wants you to use AI. And he's also saying you're responsible for double checking, triple checking to make sure it's accurate, which is what he also told employees yesterday. Then you wonder, is it actually more work to use AI? Because if I have to then go back and thoroughly edit and fact check line by line, whether it's accurate, wouldn't it just be better if you just wrote it yourself? And like, right? Like if like that's the predicament I think here is like, it's all about efficiency for these bosses. But it's possible that it's more efficient to, at least at this point in time when AI is hallucinating and making things up and not super accurate on a lot of important issues, to maybe just have the subject matter expert, who is your reporter, write the sentences themselves and save you a lot of also possible brand heartache. Because if you get one story wrong, it implicates your whole brand. Thank you for watching Powerlines. For more analysis and insight, subscribe to our YouTube channel down below, like this video, and you can watch more of us right over here.